Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam, joining me to discuss all things Tottenham Hotspur, making his comeback this week after a week away. It's Matt.
Hey, mate, you alright? Do you know what? If I get reincarnated as a yo-yo, I think Spurs are giving me a nice little bit of experience in how it's going to feel.
Don't, mate, don't. Do you know, I've said this before on the podcast, and I'm going to keep saying it because I still think it's the best analogy to sum up this football club. Is the getting a blowjob was being punched in the nuts. It's like it's just
true, isn't it?
It doesn't make sense. It just really doesn't. You had to work last week, and we just couldn't find the time, so I had to get a substitute in. I don't like doing that. He's a nice guy, Stefan, but it's weird. you can't have step in Stefan. The limelight stealing little git. I every time he comes on the show, I'm like, oh great, here we go. I'm going to get a phone call after this. Like, hey, Daniel Levy's on the line. Loves your podcast, by the way. That Stefan guy. He'd love to bring him to an executive box one day and have a chat about all things Tottenham. Like, no,
but just him. Like you used to, you know, just seats in.
None of the rest. Yeah. Speaking of that, though, this is quite funny. I said jokingly, right? I said jokingly, and I gotta say this again, jokingly on Twitter. Done the podcast for a good while now, a few years. And I see a lot with other podcasts, like people get invited on and stuff like that. And I know you've done that, and we've had someone come on here and stuff.
Sure.
And I was like, I never get invited. Like, I never get asked to be a guest on another podcast, talk to anyone else. No one ever sort of goes, oh, yeah, let's do a bit of cross-brand promotion with Spurs News. Let's get that Sam guy on. And someone replied, probably because they're Spurs News, their Spurs podcast. Don't want to speak to some freaking Bristolian. I was like, oh, fair enough.
That's not very nice, is it? Do you know? Social media can be such a cruel place.
To be fair, compared to most on social media, that was pretty mild.
People are so mean, aren't they?
That was okay.
Oh yeah, that was okay. But do you know what?
Compared to the generalisation of what we normally get. I mean, I posted the other day on our Facebook page a statistic that Sonny has now scored at least 10 league goals in 6 seasons in a row. Now, I want to say this to you because me and you are of a similar age and experience of being Tottenham fans. How awesome is that?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
We've had like a forward get at least 10 league goals. To us, that's amazing. Harry Kane has like kind of shattered that for the next generation. Yeah. The expectations of my daughter, Seb, and everyone for a striker at Tottenham now is Jimmy Greaves level. Anyone, nothing's going to compare.
No.
We're used to Gordon Jury, right?
Jury.
So
Blimey,
6 seasons in a row, 10 plus league goals. Me and you were like, that's amazing. I posted that and people were like, yeah, inconsistent, really. Poor. I'm like, really? Well, I posted this like proper bragging, like, look, it's Sonny, I'm so proud. And then I've read through the comments of just this toxic bullshit.
Do you know what, Sam? Listen, you got to play a bit. Twitter bingo, social media bingo. But I guarantee, within the first 10, I've not obviously seen this post, but within the first 10 comments, just to cross off my bingo card, was there? There's that one, your trophy.
Hang on, I'm loading.
What trophy did that get you? Something along the words, as long as it's got the word trophy in it.
Hang on.
It's got to be.
Everyone talk amongst themselves because I guarantee. Oh, hang on. I've got a more recent one, right? So I put, following his goal against Everton Monday night, Son Heung-min has now moved up to 119 goals for Tottenham. He is now just 5 away from Teddy Sheringham and therefore breaking into the club's all-time top 10 goal scorers.
It's insane, isn't it?
I was like, that's awesome.
It is insane. Right? Bear in mind, Kane plays for us as well.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Right, so let's just... Now, I don't think... I'm going to say this now. I don't think the comments on this... I mean, the first one is a guy... go on, Sonny, love him, always smiling.
Oh, wow,
Great
I love
comment.
it.
Great comment,
right?
Yeah. The next one, I love Sonny. No, he doesn't put away every chance he gets, but who does? He's a team player. So that's kind of like, I love this guy. I mean, he's not amazing.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It's one of those things where, you know, you criticise someone, but you coat it in a compliment.
Yeah, I get that a lot, normally whilst dating. Yeah, like, oh, I'd love a second date. You're such a great guy, but yeah, it's that pirate farmer accent thing. I like my podcast more Tottenham. Michael Cheval says, need to buy someone else to back him up. See,
it's going downhill.
See, here's a post about Sonny and how well Sonny's done, and someone's decided, you know what, I'm going to hijack this because I want to point out that our signings have been crap.
It needs to be negative. Please make this post negative.
Oh, here we go. The next person says, for some reason, he seems to hesitate a lot recently.
Here we go.
He takes an extra touch at times.
So that one wasn't even a compliment shrouded in. That was just pure negativity.
That was pure negativity. Yeah. And then we've got fully deserved the great ambassador for Spurs and football. That's nice.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's nice.
Yes.
That's a good one. And then next person, he's such a hot and cold player.
Right,
when he's red hot, he's world class, but when he's poor, he's very poor. Literally has a red hot period once a season, then is average at best for the rest of it. Wow.
Just can't. I think it must be. Like, I know me and you have, for people who have listened to this over the years, we talk about social media a fair bit, don't we? Because we've got the Facebook page, haven't we? So it's something like a conversation that we have, because it's quite relevant to, I guess, what we're doing with Spurs News. But just the negativity, like, it just gets outweighed all the time. I think you pointed out, didn't you, once that if you post that we score a goal, you get you get about 5 or 6 comments.
Yeah,
we can see the goal.
It's an avalanche. Yeah, I mean, just to finish this off, because I always find this amusing. Someone said the best Asian player in the world. That's a fair thing. He does win that every year. Mm-hmm. Someone then says it's a shame we're out of every competition. Lol.
I always think
God, that guy. I mean, who needs comedy when you got a guy like that, man?
I always think if someone puts lol or a laughing emoji at the end of it, they're kind of like realising that what they're saying isn't particularly funny. So it's like, I've made myself laugh. That's the main thing,
Yeah, that's true. I do that a lot. And then the last one I'm going to read out is a guy called Alan Wakeling. And I'm naming you Alan because you're a twat. Who's written, I don't suppose you have a copy of Who Gives a Shit, do you?
Oh, for God's sake.
Alan, you've literally seen something on the internet you're not interested in, and rather than just scrolling past, you've decided to take time out of your day to comment. Wow.
Have you seen? I know we've made analogies about this in the past, but I saw one come up on one of the, I think it might have been on TikTok or something, and it was a clip of Ricky Gervais who talks about, I think you've seen it, about the guitar lessons.
Yeah.
So he said,
I don't want guitar lessons. Yeah, well, why have you rung me about it? Because I need to tell you I don't want guitar lessons. Yeah, I'll never understand it in a million years. We post stuff all the time, like for all different aspects, from the academy to the Tottenham women's team, the first team for the men. We post stuff about kids that are out on loan, different things. My favourite one at the moment is every time I post about Troy Parrott getting told how shit he is. Troy Parrott's on loan at the MK Dons. And because he's not scored 30 goals this season, it's a failure. Anyone who's interested, go and read MK Don's social media and see what the fans think of him over the last 2 months. See what the manager and everyone else at that club thinks about him. The kid has had what can only be described as a sort of an epiphany moment where he's realised that his career was stalling. And he says it in an interview. And I've posted that and people were critical of it. So in this interview, he basically says, I realised I was kind of a bit stuck. And I realised that I can't control when a chance will land to me. I can't control these things. But what I can control is how hard I work, how much I run, how much I chase, how much I do all the tough stuff. I am in control of that. And since then, you've only got to see the statistics, you've only got to see the sheer praise he's getting. I mean, the MK Don fans worship him. I mean, he scored 2 goals for them the other night, and the first goal went in. Their Twitter account said, without a shadow of doubt, the biggest roar we've heard this season was when they read his name out, because that goal is so deserved.
Yeah. And
then he got his second, and like the comments, I was reading through them. This is MK Don's fans as well, not like Tottenham fans hijacking it like we did with Oliver Skip. I'm reading through them, and they're just like, he's unplayable at the moment. The last 2 months, the guy's been a level above everything. He's phenomenal, just everything, all these comments. And I posted this interview back, because I've been following Troy for quite a long time, since he was an academy player, a real youngster in Ireland, and we managed to snap him up. And he came to my attention because Robbie Keane did an interview with him, because he was told to be the next Robbie Keane. So I kind of saw him. Robbie Keane pushed him to Tottenham. We picked him up, and I've been following ever since, as you know, because I've talked about him loads.
Yeah, of course.
So I've kind of got a little bit of an invested interest in him. So I've kept an eye, and I was so like, this interview to me is great because it's a maturing thing. People seem to forget that when you're young, you don't always see the most obvious things in the world. Like, you don't. And he has hit a maturity level at his still relatively young age where he's gone, I can't control the weather, I can't control this, but I can control how hard I work. And the comments on it were just like, wow, football player works out, he needs to work hard. I'm like, that's so oversimplifying what really young lads... Like, this young kid has basically just turned his whole outlook around and is seeing his performances go through the roof. It's literally the same as an interview I once saw with a guy called Harry Kane, who said, I realised I wasn't the most natural at this, most natural at that, so I knew the only thing I could control was my work ethic. So I worked harder, longer. When the other strikers would finish, I'd do an extra hour with penalties, an extra hour shooting with my left foot, my right foot. I'd work on header, I'd do this, I'd do that. And I think everyone can sit back and go, oh yeah, okay, that's worked out quite well for him then. It's an attitude shift, it's a mentality thing. He hit an age in maturity where he realised he needed to work harder than everyone else. Troy Parrott has basically just said the same thing, and his performances have gone up to the next level, and I mean really, really impressive. I know he's in League One, but Kane was in the Championship when he had this epiphany with Norwich, I think he was at. And Troy is playing now at a level well above where he's at. And everybody knows it. You just got to read the MK Don fans and just be like, yeah, he's Premier League level at League One. He is just head and shoulders above everybody.
Do you know what? I as you're saying that, I get this will probably be me guilty of oversimplifying it, and it's something that I've mentioned before. But
yeah,
you look at You look at players that, and I know, Sam, this is obviously something I mentioned before, so I apologise people who listen, but yeah, it's because it's what's got in my mind with Troy Parrott. So you look at players that are naturally gifted, the naturally gifted players out there, that it just comes easy. They retire, and their life sometimes most of the time just goes to pot. I mean, I'm thinking of Paul. I know he's obviously recovered. Yeah. And I always think of David Beckham as the one that was never naturally gifted, and now he's retired. He's not stopped, has he? He owns a football club, and it's almost like probably Harry Kane will be the same. And I'm not saying I'm Troy Parrott. It's early days of him. I appreciate that, but Harry Kane will be the same. I reckon when Harry Kane retires, it's like he's just instilled this work ethic in him that I can imagine when your body doesn't allow you to play football anymore, just doesn't stop. Well, you become this machine,
He's already set himself up to go and do a trial for the NFL.
Yeah.
Harry Kane has said when he retires from football, he wants to become a kicker for the NFL.
Wow.
And he's already set all that up. He's set up how to do it. He's already doing training for it.
Wow.
He, like you just said, the guy's got an inbuilt determination that he's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And his work ethic means... And he also knows that. I mean, I'm a control freak workaholic. I know I am. And because of that, I set things up. And I know if I ever finish a project, I am a nightmare to be around. If I'm nothing to do, I'm the worst person in the world.
Sure.
Because I just create shit, I'm like, I've not redecorated my house in the last month, therefore I'm going to tear it down,
Sure.
I just, my brain itches, and because I learned that about myself, I am constantly now in a position where I've got this project, and I've lined that one up, and then I'm lining that one up, and then I'm going to do that. Oh, that looks interesting, I'm going to do that as well. So the point is, I'm constantly overworking myself, but I know if I'm the other way, I'm a nightmare. So you see that in people all the time, and people are people, whether they're playing football, whether they're working in a garage, wherever. The people are people, and the attitude and the when you mature. Because when I was younger, I was a nightmare. I literally worked to go out.
Yeah, sure.
So I would, and this was when I started my career as well. But I was calling in sick on a few days, when I really wouldn't. I just want to spend a day drinking with my mates and stuff like that. And these young professional footballers, we all kind of sit back and judge them. Oh, they got the world at their feet, they got all that. We forget when we were like 19, we'd pull a sick day. So they can't do that.
No, of course. Absolutely.
they can't do any of that. Yes, they got a privileged lifestyle. Of course they do. And they're living the dream that many of us had as kids. And so it's aggravating if we ever see them like not give 100% in our eyes. But for this young man to turn around and go, I've realised that's in my control, and now he's accepted that, his performances have gone through the roof, and people are still being critical. What I don't get is why you don't support that. Like, to me, it's like I read that and I was like, brilliant, that's amazing. Let's really support the kid because he is seeing the benefits. He is getting praised beyond belief. He is seeing his fitness improve. He's seeing everybody around him now going, wow, Troy, this is something special. That's when you encourage, there's the carrot and stick thing. That is like, you have discovered this yourself. You can, what's the saying? You can lead a horse to water. There's probably coaches all around going, I've been trying to get him to realise this for bloody years.
But it does have to. Like, I'll say it with my own personal, example with me. Like, I've got into my running in a big way. I'm off to Paris next month for the marathon. I'm going to run the Paris Marathon in April. That was like for 41 years of my life. The furthest I ever ran in my life was, and I mean this genuinely, to the toilet probably. That was the furthest I'd ever ran, But people could tell me for that 41 years, I could see people running, I could see people looking fit, but it didn't make me want to do it. Something has to click inside you. You have to decide. Yeah, you've got to decide.
Yeah, I mean, I had a personal trainer for a while, and I just threatened to deck him. So it don't work until I've decided to do it. It doesn't matter how much someone shouts at me.
No, of course. Yeah, and obviously something has clicked with Troy, hasn't it? Something he's like you say, he's had an epiphany. He's clicked in him, and now it's clicked. Now he's reaping the rewards of it.
No, completely. And I mean, but if you're interested, do keep an eye, because there is a real player there, and there has been one for a little while, and I hope everyone can look in now. MK Dons is where he's at. Another striker to look out for, Kian Ete, who's doing really good things as well. So keep an eye out for both of them, because it'd be interesting in the summer, them both coming back for an assessment with, I assume, Conte, but who knows? Every week could be different.
Do you know what? After the Champions League, yes. Did you watch that game, by the way, PSG?
Yeah, no, I actually didn't, but I got sent a message saying, "Oh, I think they're going to bottle it," and then 10 minutes later, they did.
Right, but do you know what? I know this might sound ridiculous. Actually, you might not think it sounds ridiculous, but I did.
Yeah.
So I do. Well, no, let me start again. I don't think it sounds ridiculous, but this is what I did.
Yeah.
So I watched the game. And then when there was about 2 minutes left, and it was quite clear PSG were going to lose, I've got no affiliation towards PSG. I don't care what they do. I mean, but I couldn't watch it because of Pochettino.
Yeah, no, I know. Heartbreaking.
I couldn't. I had to turn it off. I was like, I can't bear to watch.
I love the guy.
Honestly, I couldn't. I had to turn it off because I couldn't bear to see Pochettino having to shake hands as a loser.
No, I'm with you. Probably not helped by the fact before that game, he gave an interview with Rio Ferdinand, where Rio said, when you talk about Tottenham, I can still see there's quite a lot of love there. And he basically said, I still think Tottenham is my club, my home.
Oh.
And I've posted it in our Spurs chat, by the way, so have a look when you get a chance. Yeah. I watched it and went, no.
Oh, so here's one for you. Here's one for you, okay?
Yeah.
End of the season, right? End of the season. Pochettino's been sacked because he's obviously not got PSG into Champions. Right, we have the option of Conte going to Man United and we getting Pochettino back. How does that make you feel?
Don't.
Go on, honestly, Sam.
No, it's a nightmare for me, right? And I'll tell you why it's a nightmare for me, because I immediately want to say, I'd take that from you, right, straight away. Like, immediately I would. But logically, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, does it?
The reason why it doesn't make sense is because Conte is definitely a phenomenal coach, manager, as much as Pochettino is a phenomenal coach and manager as well. But Conte definitely is. And I have this firm belief in my life that you don't go back. Because if you go back, there was a reason why it didn't work the first time. And if you go back, what's changed? What's different? The reason why it didn't work the first time, in my humble opinion, is the club didn't back Pochettino correctly.
No.
They're still the same people.
Yeah.
Now, Paratici's there, but it's still Daniel Levy. And I think if you go back to Pochettino, I think you're basically going back to a point of where Daniel Levy go, oh, there we go. He'll coach the young players. He'll work miracles with them. I don't need to sign anyone, Whereas Conte is like, sign a mother player, or I will go into that press room again and call you a bold. Mauricio is far too nice for that. Mauricio used to basically scream for signings, but in a really nice way. Oh, we need to rebuild. It's a painful rebuild, and the club need to change the way we do things. Conte's just like, this is crap. This is crap. That is crap. Why did he sign that crap? I don't know. But everything this club's done for 20 years is shite. Now I'm here. It's a very difficult thing. I think, from my point of view, the only thing that would swing it from me is if Conte wants to leave. So, and I think the guy has an element of bipolar, because he is literally 1 week giving an interview about, this is the best squad I've ever inherited, followed by, I want to quit, I'm crap, I hate the world, followed by, that was really good, we need to get consistent, followed by, this club's so up and down, it's been 20 years of crap. Which, by the way, him picking 20 years of crap felt such a dig at Enoch. I cannot put the word, he could have said 30 years, because let's face it, the sugar years weren't exactly laden with wonderfulness. But he didn't. He picked 20, and every fan went, ooh, that coincides with something, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's like one of the comments on that post, isn't it? It's a compliment. Or it's a criticism coated in something, just so it's like it's just like a little warm hug, but there's a definite sharp needle going to you. It's a very, very Italian mafia style, I suppose. But it's bizarre. But like, if he turned around at the end of this season and was like, I can't work at this club, like I can't work under the conditions of this club. And Man United, or do you know what? Even PSG might come in for him in the summer, and he's like, do you know what? I want to go to a club where I say go sign that guy, and they go okay, and it's done, because I can't work like this. Then he's got PSG or Man United who would do that for him, and if he wanted to leave, for me that would make my mind up, because I can't stand this notion of, he's a great manager, and I love that he's come to our football club, and I think, given the correct support, which of course I still doubt you'll ever get, but given that, he would be a success here. I think we would have a successful period with him in charge. But I'm so fed up with this kind of him talking to us as fans and to us as a club like we're beneath him and were somehow lucky. He's getting paid a lot of money. Yeah, do you know what? I said that to you a couple of weeks ago, didn't I? That it's such a weird scenario, isn't it? Where if we're not playing bad, if we're not playing well, normally it's like, oh, how's the manager hanging on? But we're almost like we've bought into it too, haven't we, as fans?
We have, yeah.
But you can see why, because it's the guy, like, I know we talk about your heart versus your head with Pochettino and Conte. And I know Pochettino has won. He's won a couple of things at PSG, hasn't he? Not as much as he should have won, really, at that club. No. But Conte's got the back. Like, he's got what he's done. He doesn't need to say anything, does he? Every club he's gone to, he's won a title. Every club, he's won league. He's won league cups. He's won cups everywhere he's been, and titles, league titles. So he's got that pedigree. So. Probably, I'd accept at the moment, and I've said this before as well, from a stadium point of view, from everything we're not punching, but from how we're playing, a squad point of view, we are punching at the moment. Yeah. But
Yeah.
That's something that we'll see, I guess. The proof of being.
But that's that's on him as well. And this is the thing that is like there have been games where we have been overrun in midfield, and we're all watching it, and we're going, just having two midfield in there ain't working today. It's not. And he doesn't change it. It's like, this is my system, this is how we play. And don't get me wrong, Guardiola never changes the way he plays. Pochettino never changes. And people are like, oh, where's your plan B? Well, plan A works, you don't need a plan B. You basically, if you're bloody good, you play your way and the other team have to adapt to you. So the thing is he has that system and the total belief, but if you haven't got the players who can play that, it makes it bloody difficult. Now, Emerson Royale is a fullback and he's being adjusted to be a wing back, and he doesn't look comfortable, and he looks like someone who genuinely hasn't settled at all.
No, not at all. No,
but
right.
Matt Doherty looks like a different bloke.
He does.
As a wing back. It's like, I watched him that other night against Everton playing through balls, drifting in field like a friggin' playmaker, going out wide like Darren Anderton of old, hitting the touchline. I'm like, who? Because genuinely, he's quite a tall guy, and from a distance, I'm like, is that Kulusevski?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm like, I can't quite believe Matt Doherty's just played that ball. Twice. He got 2 assists in that game. I mean, we got to talk about it, obviously. We smashed Everton 5-0, and it could have been more.
Should have been more. Yeah.
I mean, you were there.
I've got to tell you a funny story. I know now
Please,
we're talking
bring it on.
Now we're talking about the game. So, obviously, like, I've settled into where I'm sitting now in the South Stand, and there's like actually quite a good group of people around us. And the guy in front of us, when it was 4-0, he'd put £10 on, 25-1, 4-0, right? And he's going to us all.
I bet he was gutted.
No. He's going to us. What do I do? He said, they're offering me 30 quid to cash out. What do I do? Right? So we all look at each other. I was like, please don't ask me, because I'm the worst gambler. Like, you'll be the worst person to ask. And then everyone's gone. And then we had a corner, and it nearly scored. He went, oh my god. He went, right, I'm cashing out. Right, and he cashed out. 1 minute later, we came banged in the fifth. And we all just jumped on him. Everyone just jumped on him, like, you're a legend. Like, and he was like, you've never seen someone so happy for a team to score the 5th goal, because normally by the 5th goal, everyone's really happy, but you kind of, compare the enthusiasm to when we scored that goal against Man City at the beginning of the season, comparing to score the 5th goal against a team that were just pathetic. You're going to celebrate, but it's never going to be mad celebrations, is it? This guy celebrated like that man's that Sonny goal in the first game of the season. It's like such a good decision.
I'd hate
that.
The minute cash out was added to betting, I must have. And the thing is, I have lost out on winning bit, but I'm just like, no.
It's a nightmare.
I know what I'm like.
It's a nightmare because you just don't know what to do you? It's like, it's such a risk.
I could never be a serious gambler.
No, me neither.
I can't. Like, I put. I think I've said this before. I've got like one of the online accounts with one of the betting places, and I put like £20 on at the start of the season, and I basically have a game with myself that over the whole season I finish up. That's my game. So across the whole season I put like pound bets on, like 50p bets on massive accumulators, stuff like that, and over the whole season my goal is just to finish with more than 20 quid.
Sure.
Rarely happens. 1 year I had an accumulator come in 1 year and I won 400 and something quid, and I found out I won that while sat in a pub, and I spent the friggin' lot. Not clever. But yeah, so I could never be a serious. I mean, the stress of that guy's stressing over 40 quid, was it?
It was like,
I'd be a mess. I'd just be a mess, and I'd be in the stand screaming at Kane to miss. Miss it, you bastard.
Do you know what though? I think, because I was saying to him, like, I don't want to give you any advice, but I think I did help him, because actually I did. I remember now. Because when so we got that corner, we nearly scored, and then because he sits directly in front of me, so I tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, you know what? If I was you, I'd cash out, because otherwise you're gonna you're gonna be upset if Spurs score, aren't you? I said, like, I get it that you want Spurs to score. You're a massive Spurs fan, like we all are. But there'll be a tinge of sadness if we score a fifth, won't there? Because you've just lost out on all that money. I said, whereas if you cash out,
sorry, I need to interrupt you. There is massive breaking news in the world of football.
Okay.
When people hear this, they'd have seen it. But it's 9:30 in the morning as we record this. Roman Abramovich has been officially sanctioned by the UK government. His assets, including Chelsea Football Club, has been frozen. Chelsea cannot sell. He cannot sell the club. Chelsea have been given a special licence to continue with football-related activities, but the sale of the club is barred. Abramovich is one of 7 high-profile oligarchs who have been sanctioned by the government. I'm just reading through here. It appears they cannot sell tickets. Only season tickets can attend games. Season ticket holders can attend games. This story is obviously breaking and developing, but Chelsea in the bin, ladies and gentlemen.
Good. You couldn't have happened to a nicer club.
Yeah,
I can't stand them.
This reporter says sanctioning Chelsea Football Club effectively places them in limbo. Yeah.
Good. Do you know what? It's funny because I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it was really odd that he was like really in a rush to sell them, and he was
someone tipped him off.
Yeah.
What is interesting is I saw a lot of stuff about the government sanctions and stuff like this, and I one of my close friends from school, and we speak daily, is a barrister. And he said to me, we got like a little group chat of old school friends, and he said on there, he said, the thing that people miss in the press and the public is when you announce these things, you've had to do a lot of work behind the scenes legally to be there. You know, you've had to put stuff. So when the government announced that quickly, I think it goes to show that they had a lot of this lined up. A lot of this was already in place. He said, and there's a few others that were missing. And Boris Johnson got hammered because he said in Parliament, someone asked him about Roman Abramovich. He said, oh yeah, he's already under it. And then he had to retract it. And my friend again just went, Abramovich is in deep shit. He misspoke. He shouldn't have said anything because, of course, you can't. Until action's taken, you're not allowed to comment on ongoing investigations or ongoing things like that. I think he got tipped off, and that's why he tried to fire stuff and tried to shift stuff quickly. Yeah. But if those news reports coming out now, 9:30 a.m. 10th of March, Chelsea are in deep shit. They can't be sold. Player contracts and stuff like that are expiring in the summer. He can't be negotiated. I mean, I'm guessing Chelsea Football Club, he tried to put it in the hands of like a trust, and the trust basically said no, which is kind of interesting, which I thought was odd at the time, but I'm guessing, I mean, at the time I just sort of thought, well, if these being sold, they probably thought better you handle the sale than us. But yeah, Chelsea Football Club right now are in absolute limbo. And it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of bastards, to be honest with you.
I just honestly, that club. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You know, they've won tons of trophies, haven't they? Under his.
Don't.
Right.
But it's literally. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
But it's just like, you know. I know this is a sweeping generalisation. I'm sure there's lovely Chelsea fans out there, you know, that give all their money to charity and are lovely people, right? But it's just the general, you know, my general feeling of them. You know, they're just like the ones that go to the games and the ones you. It's just the nastiness. It's the stuff you just don't hear from any other fans. And I know I say it all the time. The gas chamber history you don't hear from any other fans. That kind of stuff. They're so classless, aren't they? Yeah. They're such a classless bunch. You know,
a real chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, horrible. Classless.
I mean, you get it with a lot of fans. I mean, you don't get me wrong. You get, I mean, there's some Tottenham fans that are toxic assholes, and there are fans in every big fan base. But like you, Chelsea en masse, like, you know, and that's why I get so aggravated with David Baddiel, who's a Chelsea fan, trying to lecture Tottenham about why we're trying to lecture us about things like that. I'm like, seriously, get your house in order.
Yeah.
I know two wrongs don't make a right, and I know there is a perception about the why, but you've got to look at context, and you've got to look at what they do. We are literally at a stadium and they are abusing the Jewish members of the Tottenham fan base, and our response to that is attack them, attack us all.
Yeah.
And that's what that is all about. and yet they are there hissing, doing the gas. They're, you know, you only got to go on social media. There's a Tottenham woman who's like a vlogger, I think they call them. God, I'm old. And she does a video on the tube with just fans calling her big nose, calling her every Jewish slur under the sun, having a right go at her, and she's just filming them. And she's like, yeah, all right, thanks, yeah, all right. Because she's wearing a Tottenham shirt.
Jesus, man. Did you know? Yeah. Did you see as well? You know when I don't know if you saw this because it was reported on a few of the news. I think Sky picked it up as well. When Chelsea played Burnley, do you know that minutes kind of they started chanting Abramovich's name. Yeah. So the people, I mean, that's tongue. Like as a club, right? There's a fan base there who owe all of their success to that man, and if they feel an affection for that guy and they want to chant his name, there are 94 minutes of football where you could choose to show that appreciation to that guy. Yeah, of course.
You don't do it during a I can't.
That sums him up, doesn't it, Sam? That sums him up.
Yeah, no, you're bang on. It absolutely sums him up. Because I know for a fact there would be Chelsea fans in amongst that looking over the shoulder going, oh, wow.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And this isn't directed at them. Their football club being at limbo for all of Rome, all that stuff, that's awful for them. And I feel for them. Genuinely, I do. But it's the assholes who gloat, who've been writing like pro-Russia stuff. I'm like, what are you on? Because your owner's Russian and he's literally bought you this success. You know, I remember going to Stamford Bridge where they put a bucket around at half time to raise money so they could pay the staff.
Yeah, sure.
I remember that. Like, do they not? I mean, these are people who are older than me. They must remember their stadium, one end of it being a freaking car park.
Yeah, of course. And do you know what? Look, I'm not gonna. I know it's gonna sound like, oh, you know, we're the angels, we're the ones that, because I know there's fans like you've just said. There's fans, some of our fans. But whenever, and I don't know if you picked it up when you watched it because it was Monday Night Football. Yeah, it was on telly, wasn't it? When the Ukrainian guy, I forget his name, the Everton guy, come on. Everyone, to a man, the whole stadium, 60,000 people stood up and clapped him on. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like with the Chelsea, the Chelsea fans, like you said, you spot on. Chant that during the 90 odd minutes of the football. Yeah. But when it comes to the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian players, you're just being a scumbag doing it. There's no other explanation, is there? You know,
there is.
You're doing it to be a scumbag.
No. You are doing it to be absolute scum.
Yeah.
And it's completely awful. And like I sit and I watch everything that's going on in the world, and I find it difficult to believe that Chelsea fans have sat and watched that and then thought, I know what would be funny. Yeah. That's the mentality. The same people who hiss at Jewish people, the same people that do all this stuff. I mean, they're the only football club who had to take their fans on like Auschwitz trips to try and educate them. Yeah. Every other football club accepts, we got a few morons, but Chelsea have had to go, oh right, it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot of morons.
I genuinely hope that this destroys them, you know. I just genuinely love that, you know.
I don't think it will. The government will seize it and then sell it to some billionaire. The government will take the money. I mean, Abramovich was trying to be clever. He announced that all the money from the sale would go to a charity for the victims of the war. Yeah. Well, of course, a good journalist a couple of days later pointed out that 3 billion euros from Abramovich went to Putin's war fund. So he's on the left hand. You know, the guy's, it's nonsense. It's like me punching someone in the face and then give them a $5 to go towards the dentist bill.
Yeah, I've given you a $5. Yeah, what you mean?
Yeah, what are you moaning about? I'm a great guy. I'm a charitable guy. Yeah. And just, I mean, I argue with so many people about that because I'm like, well, he doesn't have to, and I'm like, it's not his freaking money.
Yeah, of course.
You know, he has literally stolen it and he's given it away. And anyway, I can't.
Yeah.
But so that is breaking news. Everyone keep an eye on that. If you're listening to this and you've not seen it, I imagine everyone's going to have seen it by the time you're listening to this, but that's interesting. So just to finish up about the Everton thing, I want to just mention Dele Alli. Dele coming on for Everton, I think it helped. We were 5-0 up.
Do you know what's funny? Do you know what's funny, Sam? In the stadium, right? We all got up and clapped and started singing, and the only silence you could see was in the corner.
Everton, yeah. Well, I did see a fair few. It was the standard Dele song, but I did see shared a lot of people trying to get it adjusted, and I did laugh at the adjustment. You know he only cost $5 million. He's better than Ozil. People were trying to say, you've got Ali, Dele Ali. He cost you lot fuck all. He's still better than Ozil.
He's still better than Ozil. I love
it. But you've now got Dele Alli. And I was kind of thought to myself that would be hilarious if 50 or 1,000 people sang that at the Everton fans. But of course, being 5-0 up, but mate, that was kind of like hair raising. That feeling of. And I think how Dele must have felt in that moment. And then Hugo Lloris basically grabbing him like, no, come say goodbye properly. To the fans at the end.
It's funny as well because...
Nice moment.
Yeah, it was. But I don't know whether it's going to take time with him, but he affected the game for Everton in the same way that he affected the game for us in the last... He seems to be a shell of a player. It's bizarre. It's utterly bizarre what's happened to him.
It is sad, but I think what I want to focus on, and you're right to point that out, but I think I want to focus on is just the love there.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and there was a lot of love.
He did so much for us, and everyone by the end was that head and heart thing of, you need to go, we need to let you go, it's not working out anymore, but we love you. And to see that reception when he came back, I think kind of encapsulated that, and I was proud. That was a moment I felt proud as a fan. Because you see some players come back sometimes, even when they've been great for us, and the reception's kind of like, whatever, boo, you know.
Yeah, sure.
And of course, there's some pantomime stuff, like Kyle Walker deserved to be booed.
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
It's a good bit of panto stuff going on, and it is that. But theatre. But with Dele, it was love, and it was pure and simple. One of the best times we as a club have had for a long time was with Dele firing, playing wonderful football, and everybody loved that time, and he was a big part of that. By the way, you think that reception was good, you wait until Eriksen comes.
Oh my god, yeah, of course, of course.
Have you seen that clip? I mean, you must.
Oh, what when he falls on?
Yeah,
when he's like
the Norwich guy's ready to fight. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna murder. Oh my god, it's you! Gives him a hug. It's like, we've never met, but I love you. You're such a nice guy.
Do you know Eriksen now? Wonderful. Wherever he goes, like, he's just any fan of any club anywhere in the world is just
like,
gonna love
after him.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like, if someone goes in hard on him, it's like, oh, send him off, ref.
Do you know what? With all the money he's got, right? I can imagine he probably never pays for a meal.
No. To be fair, you just said that. If I saw him out, I'd be like, "Can I get you anything?
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Sir, can I carry that for you? You look tired. Are you tired?"
He must be struggling to spend money, mustn't he?
I don't know. He's got a wife.
Yeah, exactly.
It's never difficult.
She's probably like going, "Oh, do you know what? We need a new 3-piece suite. Can you come with me so we can get it for free?"
Yeah. Just sit on it and look tired for a minute, and I'll let us have it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I know, and I appreciate, and you're right that you wanted to focus on the sentimental part of Dele Alli. But I wanted to say as well, because if we move off from the Everton game, talking about players who particularly their confidence gone or whatever. Someone who I was impressed with, who came on in the second half, and I don't know if you thought the same as well, was Sanchez when he came on, because I know Romero was almost going to get sent off. Sanchez came on, and he fantastic.
You absolute colossus.
Yeah.
I want to just touch on the Romero thing, because
the social media. Yeah. It's awesome.
So cutie, they call him Cutie Romero, right?
It's a lot cute about what he did.
I knew nothing about this. Okay, so Cutie Romero hacked down Richarlison, and it was a hack.
Do you know what I was going to say? Seb said to me, and it was bang on. He said it was like a glitch on FIFA. He said it was so late.
The ball had gone, and he just took him out. And the way he stood up and went, "I got the ball. I went for the ball." And I'm like, mate. There, no one is like, almost like the referee was booking him, like laughing, like really, you're gonna try and claim. And Richarlison's down in a heap, almost like crying. He got munched.
It was mad.
The rest of the game, right now, he is a very aggressive defender, and I like that about him. A lot of Tottenham fans, though, I'm noticing, Stefan is a perfect example of it. Just think he's over aggressive.
Come on, and
therefore he's a booking and a like. Based on his booking and sending off record for us, that's fair. But I love that.
I love him.
That's my kind of player. So Lamella, for example, had that real nasty streak to him, and he's gone. And Cutie's come in like, yeah, all right, I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll take over.
I'll be that guy. No worries. And so he took him out, and I was like, that was so late. That was so bad. And the rest of the game, though, his timing was perfect.
Yeah.
He intercepted the ball perfectly. Everything he did was amazing. I was like, I feel like he went and did that, like he did him. You know, like an old-fashioned Vinnie Jones style. So half time I'm on Twitter and there's a South American journalist put a clip of Richarlison playing for Brazil against Cutie for Argentina, and Richarlison cracks him, and Cutie's like livid. He wants to fight him, like kill him. And I'm like, oh wow, I wonder if there was a bit of like, I'll have you next time I see you. I'm gonna have you.
I don't think you need to wonder, Sam.
No, I don't, because at full time, all the Tottenham players on Instagram, Twitter are posting like an image from the game and like, yay, full time, we won 5-0, how amazing. Cutie Romero's picture he chose was of him being booked standing over the crunched up heap of Richarlison. I'm like, dude, you have picked that picture. Oh my word.
It's
you
awesome.
could have picked celebrating with Kane. You could have picked so many other pictures that you are in, but you have picked the one where you're like standing over your victim, getting a booking, with a look on your face of like, do it again.
Yeah.
Worth it. Oh, dear. I liked him before. I'm like, now I'm in love. It's amazing.
Do you know what? It was insane. Like we was obviously in the south, so it happened just in front of us. And we just all laughed. Like I part of me was thinking he's going to get sent off for this. He's going to be VAR because it was so late. Like I said, Seb said about how it was like a glitch on FIFA. Because it shouldn't have happened. Like it was ridiculously late. Do you know what I mean? He was
a player who is that good.
Yeah,
shouldn't happen.
No,
but it did happen because he bloody did it.
Because he would get it back.
Honestly, it was just something that just made me laugh. So, and I know there is a valid criticism. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. And I know that's valid. Yeah, but I don't know. Football's full of moments for me. Like I celebrate goals even in sometimes we've lost and stuff like that. I celebrate because of the moment, and the moment sticks in my mind. And that moment's gonna stick in my mind because he just went out there. Like there's a moment of Roy Keane literally like took someone's career from them because they injured him the season before, and people still replay that to this day as like an example of Roy Keane being, you don't mess with Roy Keane.
Yeah.
Well, QT Romero just made it abundantly clear you don't fuck with him.
But that's what we need so much more of that, don't we, in the
just
club?
So much aggression. But your point about Sanchez is valid as well, because Sanchez is one of those players who is slightly over physical, and he gives away a lot of free kicks where you look at him, just stand up, don't barge him over, just stand up, because he's such a big guy. I think he's used to that kind of, everyone tries to beat him up, and so some forwards are quite clever. The minute Sanchez gets near him, they drop, like Harry Kane does quite a lot.
Sure.
Wins a free kick, but he came on focused. He came on like literally, and nothing got past him. He intercepted. He was heading everything away. He was great, and it goes to show there is definite improvement in the individuals there. I think it's still a learning curve for them as a unit, as a team.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, but you can, he's a manager that we know that improves players. He improves players, and
exactly,
and he's improving, and it's there, isn't it? But we said when Romero had his injury, I mean, he was out for a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah,
it's unusual to miss a player that you've only literally signed in the summer.
Yeah,
but we saw beforehand what we had in this, what we've got in this player.
Yeah,
and like I'll always say, to get the best centre back or to get the best defender award in the Serie A, you've
done something.
You've done
right,
something, yeah. And I what I love about him, he's got that. He's almost like he's like a Dembele, isn't he? In the way his kind of mentality and how he plays, aggressive but very calm. Like a calm, aggressive player. Like when the ball goes to Romero, like when we play it from the back.
Yeah.
There's some players you're thinking, oh Christ, no. But Romero, I don't feel that.
Yeah.
I just feel
Davies.
Like...
Anytime Davies at the back has it, I'm panicking.
But you don't
bricking myself.
But you don't with Romero.
I also feel that way about Lloris, by the way.
Yeah.
I never think Lloris looks comfortable with the ball at his feet.
No.
Never.
There's
I
moments.
never have.
Yeah.
And never will. But Dyer's hit and miss. Some games Dyer looks absolutely majestic, like he could stride forward like Mateus Sammer. Other games he looks like me. You know, he looks like Sam. He's just like, oh, what am I doing here?
I want it.
Yeah, I think the one thing at the back which is really interesting is Dyer's organisation.
Yeah.
Romero, Sanchez, everybody look better with Dyer there.
Yeah, you're right.
So as you're building a defence there, Romero and Dyer from me, I still think we can improve on Davis. And I hate saying that because I like Ben Davis as an individual and as a player. But as the club, I think Ben, I felt last summer Ben should have gone. I feel like the club kept him because they still had doubts over Sessegnon. I think if you've still got Conte as the manager and you're playing a centre three, clearly Rodon's not fancied.
No.
Clearly. I think Rodon and Davies could well be leaving and being upgraded with a very good centre half. And then the three of them being complemented by Tanganga and another lad from the academy. There's a few very good defenders in the academy. So
what would you? There's been a lot of rumours, isn't there, recently as well about us trying to offload Emerson Royale. I know you mentioned him earlier.
It'd be interesting. I mean, it'd be kind of like an admission of defeat, but I get the impression with Paratici he's not precious. Brian Gill is a perfect example of that. Brian Gill, fantastically highly rated young player, wasn't doing it in England, gone back to Spain. He's literally helped Valencia reach a cup final. If Valencia win that, Brian Gill will have a trophy, by the way, just so everyone's aware. But because other people will point it out, so I'll do it for you to start with. But he's been phenomenal. And I mean, like, I'm watching him play for Valencia, and I'm thinking, there's no way on this earth we're getting this kid back. There's no way on this earth Valencia and several other teams in Spain aren't going to come to us and go, how much? Because he is next level, and you only got to read the pundits, the kind of punditry for the Spanish La Liga, just going, the kid is the best player here right now. He is phenomenal. And there's me and all the Tottenham fans going, really?
Yeah.
What, Brian?
I watched him. I think I watched him when we played Morecambe in the FA Cup third round, and like, even then I was like, I just don't see a player here.
He's running down closed alleys for us. He's like kind of, he looked lost, but it's one of those things. It's confidence, isn't it? Back in La Liga, back playing in Spain, everyone's speaking his language, feeling comfortable. The kid's thriving. We dragged a young man over to this country, learning a new language, playing in literally a brand new weather system to him. I mean, come on. Yeah. You grew up in Spain and then you come to London.
A little bit different.
Has anyone seen the burning thing that's normally in the sky? Because I've not seen it for a month.
Yeah, it makes me feel warm.
Freaks me out. It's an interesting one. But yeah, Emerson Royale, I don't think the club are precious. I think the club, the only issue we got genuinely is this situation around Conte. Because if he's staying going, you know, you can't build a system, you can't build and sign players based on a manager who's constantly flip-flopping on what he wants to do. And I also think that our recruitment and our sales and everything we do is going to be massively dictated by how we finish the season. There are 12 games left. Man United are next. It is in our hands, which is a wonderful but then frightening thing to be. But 12 games of football is a lot. That's a lot of points. It's a lot of games to come. And those 12 games, we got to be focused on every game, winning the next game. You know, our first of our run of this was 13 games out. Our first of that was Everton. We won it 5-0. Our focus now must be to beat Man United and nothing else. Yeah. Because if we do that, then our focus then has to shift to the next one, after the next one, and the next one. There was a really interesting statistic that Sky Sports showed before the Everton game. And it said that under Antonio Conte, when Tottenham have had 5 days or more between games, we've won every match and drawn one. We've not lost when we've had 5 days or more rest, 5 days or more to prepare. 4 days or less, we've not won. No, we've lost every game but one that we won. That was against Leeds. But not just like not picked up, we've lost every game. So under Conte, it is literally the more time we've had to prepare, we've won. Less time, we've lost. With one exception.
Do you know what's interesting saying that? And unfortunately, we've got to talk about them scumbags again. But when he took over at Chelsea, they weren't in Europe, were they? Because they'd finished so low down.
They weren't.
So he had a lot of time between games.
Yep, he did.
And he won them the title.
Yep.
There's got to be something into that, mate. That can't just be a coincidence.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I saw the stat and I was like, that's incredible. That's such an insane statistic.
I don't want to. Oh God, here we go. I don't want to. But I just say what I think, right? And it might just be the poison chalice. I don't know, but you think that us being out of everything now. Don't get me wrong, I was gutted to come out of the FA Cup.
You and me both.
Right?
Yeah.
But we're out of everything now, so we are going to have these gaps now, aren't we? So potentially, this could really help our running, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean the thing is like this is everything. We have been win one, lose one for a while now, and that's awful. We have to beat Man United. Like we have to put a marker down for the club, for the fans, for everyone, to show that we are fully focused. 12 games, fully focused, every single game. Because if we can go to Man United, even a draw there, a win or a draw there at Old Trafford, keeps it in our hands.
I'll take last year's result, to be honest with
you. Yeah. Just keeping everything in our hands is amazing because we do play the teams that we're fighting with. We do play Arsenal, we do play West Ham, we do play Man United. These are the teams that we are up against. We got a doubleheader against Brighton, we got Liverpool. So we have got games against teams that we are going to directly impact the title race, going to directly impact the chase for the top four. But it's like I said, it's in our hands. Who knows the impact on Chelsea's morale and their squad is going to be in the coming games? Who knows what sort of impact other teams having midweek fixtures for Cups Europe's going to have? It's going to be massive. It's going to be massive what's coming. And the club right now, just like I said, just got to be one game at a time. I know it's a real cliche, but it has to be. But we go to Man United Saturday. We've had the time, from Monday. We just got to go there and win. And if we can, and then it becomes 11 games. Do you know what I mean? And just every single one you chalk off. If we finish this season in the top four, I think the whole outlook of the club changes.
It'd be incredible.
I think Conte treats that. He's already starting to build it up as a massive success for the club from where it was when he arrived. He's already I think he said post-match, if Tottenham can get top four this season, that's an achievement equivalent of winning something for where the club was when he arrived. Yeah. So he's trying to put that kind of gentle pressure, if you like, on the squad to say, this is now a big goal. This, I know we're out of the Cups and we can't lift the trophy. And even Harry Kane has said this. Harry Kane's like, this club needs Champions League football. From a point of view of Conte preparing for next season, Harry Kane potentially being here next season, Champions League football is a must. I think it is it is literally this season. Top four does mean everything, because if we get it, I think Conte is definitely here next season. I think he'll also have the financial assistance available to him to make the changes he wants. I think Kane will see that Conte is still here. We'll see some signings. We'll get offered a new deal, probably with like a release clause or something built into it. I think you will see a massive change in attitude. But it's in our hands. It's in the squad's hands, and that's the both wonderful and terrifying thing. Because we are so inconsistent, it's painful. Yeah. We thump Everton 5-0 just after we go out the cup to a team in the Championship. Before that, we beat Leeds 4-0. Before that, we lost to Burnley. 1-0. Before that, we beat Man City. It's bizarre. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Beat Man City 3-2, lose 1-0. Beat Leeds 4-0, lose 1-0. Beat Everton 5-0.
We're going to lose 1-0 to Man United.
Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it to me. But anyway, it is time to go to our social media because there are a few questions from fellow Spurs fans.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
Where do you want to start, mate?
Let's go Facebook this time, shall we?
We're going to go Facebook, are we? Okay. God. Facebook. Loading the good people of Facebook. Well, I say good people.
They are good people.
Some of them are. Some of them are. I'll tell you which ones aren't. Yeah. Tom Perks says, when Conte came in, famously played 3 at the back, Rodon must have been licking his lips. Surely he has to look for another club in the summer. Yeah,
it's like,
we just talked about
it's like
that.
you say, he doesn't fancy him, does he?
Yeah. No, clearly not. And we've only got one other, which is Ryan Miller, who says, what do you do to deal with the stress of being a Spurs fan? It's certainly character building life lesson. What do I do to deal with the stress? I drink heavily. I do a podcast where I talk about my Tottenham feelings. I actually just started a Tottenham diary because I got gifted, thank you very much, Matt, a lovely Tottenham book, a notebook. So I've opened it up and I've written, this is my Tottenham diary, and I'm going to put all my podcast notes in it from this point on, and I'm going to put little notes in it as and when stuff happens. And my thinking is at some point I'll look back on this and think, oh, that was an interesting time, or that was magical, or look back and go, burn that. Yeah, one or the other. But yeah, so there you go, that's my therapy tips. The good people on Instagram, the Ep166 let me know if I'm saying that right, by the way. I can see Spurs' rebuilding plans starting to unfold. Kulu and Bentancur are really perfect examples of the type of players we need to push this rebuild. Mm-hmm. Players with talent, but most importantly, play without fear. Mm-hmm. We have too many players on our squad recently who get very tentative and timid out there and cost us games due to lack of confidence. Mm-hmm. I think you're right. I think seeing them come in, hit the ground running, something we don't see a lot from signings. We typically, every time we sign someone, go, right, give them 6 months, you know. These guys have come in. I think Kulusevski got written off by the fans after 20 minutes and is now shutting everyone up, which I like to see.
That goal against Leeds was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. And Bentancur against Everton had the most touches of any player on the pitch, and I genuinely didn't notice, which I think perfect. Shows he was doing his job. Yeah, you know, he just went about playing his football. So that was really impressive for me. I've been impressed with both of them. I think they make us better. I think Romero makes us better. I think the signings we have made, those 3, for example, have improved the first team, and it's the first time in a while signings have been made that have definitely improved the first 11, not just like squad players. We hope one day might improve. So yeah, I think you can. My fear is, and this is the reason why it needs to be continuing, it needs to, like the summer needs to be a big one, is that there are a lot of players in the squad, and this guy summed it up great with the kind of, they're damaged almost, you know, fragile form. You know, Delhi was one. I think Harry Winks is another one. A few of them that you can see, like when things are great, they look like the players of old, and then all of a sudden something they go wrong, and there's like, oh no, they panic. You know, they go into their shells, and we as fans are like, oh, what are you doing? I think there's a real inbuilt problem with a few players. I think Jose Mourinho really did a number on a lot of players' confidence. 100%. Genuinely, I believe that.
100% did. Yeah.
And I think, yes, good coaching and stuff can perhaps bring it out of them, but there is still when stuff goes wrong, it really goes wrong with a few of them. You don't want the new players coming in to inherit that, like to be like osmosis. You know, they come in all confident, and within a week they're like, "Oh my God, we're Spursy." You know, you need players coming in to keep the fresh feeling, and because it improves everybody. You know, you only got to look at the fact that Sessegnon's had a run of games. Reguilon caught COVID, was out of the side, and then Sessegnon did well, so Reguilon got sat on the bench. And you only got to see the impact of what real competition does is watching Reguilon in the second half against Everton.
He scored in the first minute.
Yeah, he scored in the first minute, but he was awesome.
Yeah, he was
everywhere. He was intercepting the ball. He was aggressive. Because he's had to sit on the bench for a while, watching someone else play well in his position, thinking, "Oh crap." When I get my chance, I really need to show the boss I'm still the man here. And that's what competition does. And now Sessegnon has picked up a slight knock, but he'll probably, I mean, it sounds like he's okay. It was just like a slight knock. So he's now going to look at this and go, all right, well, Reguilón stepped up. Now I need to step up again to get that place back.
100%. Yeah.
And that's what happens. It's too much, too many players in too many roles. They're just like, oh, well, never mind. You know, I'm all right. Or I'll sit on the bench one week. I'll play the next week, whatever. You know, I'm in my comfort zone. You bring in these players and it boots everybody up the ass. I mean, I think Højbjerg looks like he's suddenly nervous that he might get dropped, and he's improving again.
Do you know, it's funny you say that, Sam, because I'd never thought of it from that angle. Like, you look at the way that Conte picks a team, it very, very rarely changes. Like, literally, has it been like one change in the last 4 or 5 games? I mean, don't quote me on that. And maybe there's something in that from what you've just said, that if you've got a manager that's rotating constantly, and I think Nuno did that a lot, and I don't want to batter Nuno, you know what I mean? But like, he wasn't the only one that would do it, but he would rotate, so you'd have different left back, different right back, you know, from game to game, you know. And I guess if you're a player and you know that I haven't got, like, even though there's someone else playing in my position, most likely next week I'll probably get to play the next game because he's going to rotate me. Whereas now he's got that solid 11, and you only get into that solid 11
to push. I think it also comes into the time between games. You know, you play a wing-back system, your wing-backs have got to have the energy. Like with Pochettino with his full-backs, you have to have the energy to go constantly. So the reason why they're often rotated is because you simply can't play 3 games in 7 days. They can't play Saturday, Wednesday and Saturday again. So you need to have another player who's going to come in. But now we don't have that. Now we don't. So he is picking a consistent team on the basis of, right, guys, you know, we are going out there, we're going to be consistent, and if you want to get into this team, you need to prove you're better than the person out there. Yep. I still think we miss Skippy, and I would love to see Skip and Bentancur get a game together, or a few games. But yeah, I agree with that comment. I thought that was good. The final comment is from the Mountain Man. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why I'm doing it like that. Just wanted to mention the amazing reception Dele received when he came on against Everton, and after the final whistle nearly brought a tear to my eye. It still feels odd that he's no longer a Tottenham player for me. He's rightfully up there amongst the great entertainers such as Hoddle, Gascoigne, Ginola, Bale. Heartbreaking to see his current career trajectory. At least he's got the Spurs send-off he rightfully deserved.
Yeah.
Yes, don't need to add anything to that. We've already talked about it, so yeah, dead happy. Mate, that's it. That's everything. We've covered my entire list.
And we had a breaking news as well, which is just...
We did. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we did have that. That's going to be fun for us all to keep looking at. That is still going. I just checked again, and there is so much more detail. So when we're finished, I'm going to jump on that and probably post a picture of Dele Alli with the shush symbol to all the Chelsea fans, just, you know, just to be a real antagonist.
Do it.
Yeah. But look, mate, thank you for joining me. As always, it's always good fun. Big thank you to everybody for getting in touch. I always really appreciate it. You can email, message via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you want to get in touch with us, please do, because we always enjoy having a chat about all things Tottenham. Or the weather. How's things with you?
It's nice. It's quite sunny outside. It's like you're in, but it's sunny here.
No, I do want to also, because I have the last couple of weeks, want a special mention to the people listening in the Ukraine, because we do have people listening, and they have emailed to say they're still listening, trying to keep some normality in their lives.
Awesome.
Stay strong. We're all still thinking of you. Obviously, stay safe. For everybody else, and for everyone around the world, we'll be back next week.
Take care, mate.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.